Imagine asking ChatGPT for a poem and it writes one instantly. Now think about an AI assistant planning your entire day, booking meetings, and even handling emails without your constant input. That's the difference between generative AI, which creates content, and agentic AI, which acts with autonomy, making decisions. In 2025, as AI becomes more than just a tool, understanding this shift is very critical. Are we heading towards just smarter chatbots or truly independent digital agents? Let's break it down through this video. But before we begin, please like, share and subscribe. Remember to hit the bell icon to stay updated on the latest tech content on Edureka's YouTube channel. Edureka's Generative AI course Master Program helps you master the principles of generative AI and implement them in real-world application. This course includes training on artificial intelligence, Python, programming, data science, natural language processing, generative AI, prompt engineering, ChatGPT, and more. This course includes 5+ hands-on projects to help you apply what you learn in real-world scenarios. The curriculum is meticulously designed by industry experts based on an analysis of 5,000+ global job descriptions. Edureka's Generative AI and ML postgraduate program, designed by industry experts, prepares you for roles like Senior Machine Learning Engineer and AI Research Scientist. With 9+ projects, 15+ practical use cases, and 100+ hands-on labs, the program covers key concepts like Python, machine learning, deep learning, text mining, and NLP to strengthen your AI and ML skill. To truly understand the shift, let's first break down what generative AI is. Generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence designed to create content, whether it's text, images, music, or even code. Instead of making decisions or even taking action on its own, it focuses on producing outputs based on the patterns it has learned from the vast amounts of data. At its core, generative AI models use deep learning techniques like transformers to generate new content that resembles human-created work. For example, ChatGPT generates human-like text based on prompts. Midjourney and DALL-E create stunning images from simple text description, and GitHub Copilot helps developers suggesting code snippets in real time. Generative AI has several strengths. It enhances creativity and productivity, allowing artists, writers, and programmers to work faster and even more efficient. It scales effortlessly, generating unlimited variation of content in just few seconds. It also adapts responses based on user input, making interactions feel more personalized. But it also comes with few limitations. Generative AI lacks autonomy. It doesn't think or act on its own. It only responds when prompted. It has no real decision-making abilities and cannot evaluate consequences or make even independent choices. Additionally, it can generate biased or inaccurate content based on the data that it has seen. While generative AI is powerful for creating, it cannot act independently. And that's where agentic AI comes in. Let's explore what agentic AI is. Agentic AI goes beyond just generating content. It acts autonomously, making decisions and executing tasks without the need of constant human input. Unlike generative AI, which can only respond to prompts, agentic AI can plan, adapt, and take initiatives based on goals rather than the specific instructions. At its core, agentic AI combines reasoning, memory, and decision-making to operate more like an independent agent. It doesn't just create, it analyzes, strategizes, and acts. Real-world examples include autonomous robots, which navigates and complete the task on their own. AI-driven personal assistant, like those managing schedules, booking flights, and handling emails without human oversight. Even self-driving cars, which continuously assess their environment and make split-second driving decisions. Agentic AI has its own strengths. It reduces the needs for manual intervention, automating the complex workflows. It adapts to real-world conditions, learning and improving over time. It can even handle multi-step tasks that require planning, execution, and adjustment. But it also has its own challenges. Developing truly autonomous AI requires significant advancements in reasoning and adaptability. There are certain risks, including unintended behaviors and ethical concerns around AI, which makes independent decisions. And unlike generative AI, which focuses on creativity, agentic AI is limited in how well it can generate novel content. So while generative AI creates and agentic AI acts, the real powers comes when these two work together. Let's see the key differences between generative AI and agentic AI. Generative AI and agentic AI serve different purposes, each with unique strengths and applications. The key distinction comes down to creativity versus decision making. As previously discussed, generative AI focuses on producing content, whether it's text, image, or code. It enhances creativity by assisting writers, designers, and developers. But it lacks true autonomy. It only works when prompted and doesn't make any decision on its own. Agentic AI, on the other hand, is designed for interactions and execution. Instead of just generating responses, it can analyze situations, make decisions, and take actions. While it may not create content like generative AI, it can manage workflows, automate tasks, and adapt to real-world conditions. Another key difference is user dependency. Generative AI is entirely reactive, meaning it requires human input to function. It waits for prompts before generating anything. In contrast, agentic AI is proactive. It can initiate actions independently, setting reminders, optimizing schedules, or even solving problems without human intervention. The applications of these AI types also differ. Generative AI is widely used in content creating, marketing, entertaining, and software development. And agentic AI powers autonomous systems like self-driving cars, AI-powered customer service, and personal assistant that can handle complex workflows. Both AI types are transforming the industries, but when they work together, they unlock even greater potential. Imagine an AI that not only generates a marketing campaign, but also launches it, tracks engagement, and refines the strategy automatically. The future isn't just about choosing between generative AI and agentic AI. It's about combining them two to build truly intelligent systems. Now that we understand the key differences between these two, let's explore the future of AI by asking, will generative AI be replaced? As AI continues to evolve, one big question arises. Will agentic AI replace generative AI? Right now, generative AI is everywhere, helping people write, design, and code faster than ever before. But it has one major limitation. It relies entirely on human input. Agentic AI, on the other hand, takes things further. It doesn't just generate, it decides, plans, and even acts. It's the next step towards the true autonomous intelligence. Does that mean generative AI will be obsolete? Not necessarily. The future of AI isn't about one replacing the other. It's about coexisting. Generative AI will keep getting more creative and even sophisticated, producing even higher quality content. Agentic AI will become even more autonomous, integrating deeper with industries like healthcare, finance, and robotics. But this shift does come with some risk. As AI takes on decision-making power, we face new challenges, ethical concerns, unintended consequences, and the need for accountability. If an AI agent makes a bad decision, who is responsible? And how do we ensure it aligns with the human values? The answer lies in balance. The real future of AI is hybrid approach, where generative AI fuels creativity and agentic AI drives intelligent action. Imagine an AI system that not only writes a research paper, but also submits it to journals, responds to reviews, and refines it automatically. And this is where we are headed. Not just smarter AI, but AI that truly works with us as both a creator and an agent. The question isn't whether agentic AI will replace generative AI. It's how we'll harness both to shape the future of intelligence. Now that we have explored the differences between generative AI and agentic AI, let's move on to building an intelligent AI agent that can interact with our database using natural language. This means you can simply ask a question like, show me all the students who have scored above 80, and the agent will automatically convert it into an SQL query, fetch the data, and return the exact result from the database. No need to write complex SQL queries manually. Just ask and the AI responds. Let's dive in and build this powerful system. First, we need to set up a Conda environment to manage our project dependency. To do this, we open the terminal and run the following command. We'll write conda create -p vnv python equals to 3.10 -y. So, Conda creates a new Conda environment and -pvnv specify the environment path as vnv. Python equals to 3.10 installs Python version 3.10 inside the environment, and -y automatically confirms the installation without asking for approval. Once the process is complete, our virtual environment is ready, and we can move forward with setting up our agentic AI project. Next, we'll create a file named requirements.txt, where we'll list all the necessary libraries for our project. This will help us easily install dependencies in one go. Additionally, we'll create a .env file to securely store our Google Generative AI API key, keeping sensitive information separate from our main code. With these files in place, we ensure a well-structured and organized setup for our agentic AI project. First, we will work with SQLite, a lightweight self-contained database engine to create and manage a student database. Let's break it down step by step. So we'll create a file named sql.py and import the SQLite 3 module, which allows us to work with SQLite databases. We'll write import SQLite 3. This module provides all the necessary functions to create a database, insert records, retrieve data, and manage connections. Next, we create a connection to an SQLite database file named student.db. We'll write connection equals to SQLite3.connect, connection equals to SQLite3.connect, in the bracket, in double inverted comma, student.db. If this file doesn't exist, SQLite will automatically create it. The connection object will allow us to interact with the database. Now, we create a cursor object, which is used to execute SQL commands in Python. We'll write cursor equals to connection.cursor. Think of the cursor as a tool that helps us send queries to the database and retrieve results. Now, we define a SQL command to create a table named student with 4 columns. We'll write table_info equals to triple inverted commas. Next, we'll create a table. For that, we'll write create table, then student. We'll write in the bracket name type varchar, and we'll have 25 characters, comma class type varchar, and the same 25 characters, comma section type varchar with 25 characters, and marks type integer. Then we'll write cursor.execute in the bracket table_info. The name stores the student's name string up to 25 characters. The class stores the class's name. And the section stores the section of the student. And lastly, the mark stores the marks obtained as integer. Executing this command creates the table in the database. Next, we insert 5 student records into the student table using SQL insert statements. I've already created and inserted 5 values in the table. You can create as much as you can. Each insert command adds a new role with the student's name, class, section, and marks. Now we retrieve and display all records from the student table. For that, we'll have to write print in the bracket the inserted records are. In the next line, we'll write data equals to cursor.executed in the bracket 3 single inverted comma select star from student, closing the inverted commas in the bracket. Then we'll write for row in data colon print in the bracket row. The select star from student query fetches all the data from the table. The for loop iterates through the records and prints them one by one. And finally, we commit our changes and close the database connection. For that, we'll write connection.commit and then connection.close. The .commit function ensures all the changes are saved in the database. The .close closes the connection, freeing up the system resources. And that's it. We have successfully created a student database, inserted records, and retrieved them using SQLite and Python. Now, let's build an interactive Streamlit app that converts natural language questions into SQL queries using Google's Gemini model. It then retrieves data from an SQLite database and displays the result. Let's break it down step by step. But before we start, we have to activate the environment. For that, we'll write activate venv /. And here our environment is activated. First, we'll create a file named app.py and load environment variables using .env. For that, we'll write from .env, we'll import load_.env. Next, we'll write load_.env. It will load all environment variables. This ensures that sensitive information such as API keys is securely stored and accessed. Next, we import the necessary modules. For that, we'll write import Streamlit as ST, then import OS, then import SQLite 3, and then import Google.GenerativeAI as GenAI. Streamlit here powers the web interface. OS helps access the environment variables. SQLite 3 allows us to interact with the database, and Google Generative AI enables the conversion of natural language into SQL queries. Now, we configure the Google Gemini API key. But before that, we'll have to create an API key through Google Studio itself. I've already generated one. You can create yours through Google Studio itself. Then we'll write genai.configure in the bracket API_key equals to os.getEnv, and in another bracket Google_API_key. This allows the app to use Gemini 1.5 Pro to generate SQL queries. Then we define a function to generate SQL queries from natural language input using Gemini. For that, we'll write def get_Gemini_response in the bracket question, prompt. Next, we'll write model equals to GenAI, generative model. In the bracket, we'll write models / Gemini version 1.5 Pro. Then we'll write response equals to model.generate_content in the bracket, and in square brackets prompt in the square bracket 0 and question. And then we'll write return response.text. The function initializes the Gemini model. It takes a question and predefined prompt as input, and the AI model generates an SQL query as output. Next, we define a function to execute SQL queries on the database and retrieve results. For that, we'll write def read_SQL_query in the bracket SQL, db. Next, we'll write con equals to SQLite3.connect in the bracket db. Then cur equals to con.cursor, and then cur equals to execute in the bracket SQL. Then we'll write rows equals to cur.fetchCall, then con.commit, and then con.close. And then we'll create a loop by writing for row in rows, and then we'll print it, and then return rows. The function connects to the student.db database. It executes the given SQL query, and it fetches all the retrieved records and prints them. Now, we define the AI prompt that instructs Gemini on how to convert the questions into SQL queries. As you can see, I've already created a prompt for my own, and you can create yours according to how you want your model to function. If you want the prompt which I've used over here, you can just comment on the video and I'll send it to you. This prompt ensures the Gemini AI generates SQL queries accurately without unnecessary text. Now, we'll set page configuration with a title and icon. For that, we'll write st.set_page_configuration in the bracket page_title equals to SQL query generator, Edureka, page_icon. Then we'll display the Edureka logo and header. For that, we'll write st.image in the bracket 123.png, width equals to, let's keep it as 200. st.markdown in the bracket logo plus Edureka's Gemini app / your AI powered SQL assistant. Next, we'll write st.markdown, then the logo, and ask any questions, and I'll generate the SQL query for you. The page title and the icon are set. A logo is displayed at the top, and the app's purpose is to introduce to the user. And before we import the logo, just make sure that you have the logo in your folder. We take user input for a natural language query. For that, we'll write question equals to st.text_input in the bracket, enter your query in plain English, key equals to input. This allows users to type their questions, such as show all students with marks above 80. A submit button triggers the SQL generation process, and for that we'll write submit equals to st.button in the bracket generate SQL query When clicked, the app processes the query and retrieves the result. Now, we define what happens when the submit button is clicked. For that, we'll write if submit, in the next line, response equals to get underscore Gemini underscore response, in the bracket, question comma prompt. This is to convert the question to SQL. And then we'll print the response. Then we'll write response equals to read underscore SQL underscore query, in the bracket, response comma student.db, and this is to execute SQL on the database. Then we'll write st.subheader, in the bracket, the response is brackets closed. Next, we'll include a loop for, then row in response. Then we'll write st.subheader, in the bracket, the response is, and then we'll include a loop for row in response. Then we'll print row, and then st.header, and in the brackets, row. The user's question is converted into an SQL query using Gemini AI. The SQL query is executed on the StudentDB database, and the retrieve records are displayed on the Streamlit app. And that's it. The AI-powered Streamlit app allows users to ask natural language questions, which are automatically converted into SQL queries and executed on a student database. Now, let's open the terminal and run our Streamlit app. To do this, we simply type streamlit run app.py and hit enter. It's running, and as you can see, our agentic AI is up and running, ready to interact with our database. Let's test it by asking a simple question. We'll ask, give me the names of all the students. The AI processes our request, converts it into an SQL query, and retrieves the student names from the database. Perfect. As you can see, the response is generated. Now, let's try another query. We'll say, give me the average of marks. And just like that, the AI calculates and returns the average marks. The response which is provided is 72.2. So in this video, we successfully built an agentic AI that can understand natural language, generate SQL queries, and interact with our data seamlessly. If you've enjoyed listening to this video, please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment on any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them as soon as possible. Look for more videos and playlists and subscribe to Edureka's YouTube channel to learn more. Happy learning!